girls and women. You can't live with them and you can't live without them. What is this mystery of girls and women? Live long enough and you understand. Ask God and read the Bible and you'll have understanding. Okay, it makes sense. Understand it. In the beginning, God created man, and man was created in the image of God. And then God looked and seen it was not good, he said. God said it was not good that man was alone. So God created woman. And he created woman that she would be a help and a comfort for man. A girl's purpose is to be pleasing to her husband, to her man. That's the purpose of a woman. To be a help and a comfort. Like the Bible talks about, women have rejected their natural function. Entirely have rejected something that comes so natural and is so easy for a girl to do. Whenever a person does the thing that they were created to do, everybody has a purpose, you know? Everything has a purpose. When it's accomplishing its purpose, when it's in the place of its purpose, we're happy, you know? We're happy. We're doing the thing we were created for. You look around at women and girls, and what are they? They're miserable, horrible creatures. They have accepted the lies that the world has told them. Which is to say, they follow Satan, you know? They just totally have embraced the lie. And it's a bummer for people like me, you know. I'm a man, you know. I like girls. Girls are pretty. Girls are soft. Girls are curvy. I like girls. I like girls. But not under their rules will I have a girl. Ain't gonna happen. She's entirely rejected the idea of being pleasing to a man. All of them. You know, it's a pleasure that I would like to enjoy in this life, but it appears, at least to this point, you know, this generation and the last generation, they're so perverted and so corrupted by the lies of this world. It's better just to abstain. There's just no point. There are other pleasures in this world, you know. Copenhagen, you know, food, you know, knowledge is, you know, there's all kinds of other things, you know. So I just, at least, like I said, at this point, you know, I was married once, and after that experience, I've learned, you know, a woman's heart is filled with nothing but sharp pieces of tin, broken glass, rusty nails, crushed rock. It's just their hearts, you know, you come across these girls and they're, you know, so pretty. They're not beautiful, but they are so pretty. Especially in that age, you know. But their hearts, man, just horridly bad creatures. Came across some pretty funny stories. You know, there was this emperor of China. I read this story in the newspaper. It was pretty unusual to find, you know, a good story in the newspaper, but you know, the Olympics were going on, and there was a lot of reporters over there, and this one reporter actually found a really good story. And the story goes like this: there's this emperor, and he he had 175 concubines, you know, and you know, of course, every man's dream, right? And you know, one of the aspects that, you know, as a man we like about girls is, you know, they giggle and they laugh and they do girl things, you know. Yeah, it's pretty neat, you know. But on the other side, you know, one of the things that we just hate about girls is they giggle and they laugh, you know. You know, on one side they can use it as a nice thing. On the other side, they can use it just as a horrible, you know, cog in the wheel, if you will, an obstruction. You know, they use it to be frustrating. So here this emperor, you know, he's got all these concubines, but he's not getting any cooperation out of them. You know, he's got two of his very favorites. You know, they're like the lead concubines. You know. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to fix this situation. So what he just does is he brings a general, a very famous army general, into the courts there. And so the emperor introduces this famous general to all of his concubines, and the concubines are divided into two equal groups. And he's set his two favorite concubines as the leaders of, you know, one for each group. I love this story. It's so funny. And so the general approaches them and he says, okay, now when I beat the drums, you know, in this way, you know, I want you all to march forward 10 paces, you know, and then when I beat the drums in the other way, you know, I want you all to go to the right, and when I you know, beat them in this direction, then I want you all to go to the left, you know, and he gives them these instructions, and they're like, okay, they all understand, you know, and they all think this is great fun, and they're all laughing and giggling, and oh, this is just so, you know, we're going to be men, you know, we're going to be men, you know, just like the men, you know, and so the general starts beating the drum, and they start to march for just like one or two steps, and then they all just start busting up laughing and just thinking this is just so much fun, you know, this is just great fun. So the general just gets infuriated. What are you doing? I didn't beat the drums in that fashion. Get it out! And just starts yelling at him, you know. This is what you're gonna do. They're all like, okay, yeah, we'll do it, you know. And so they all get lined up again, and he starts to beat the drums, and they can't help themselves. They start laughing again. They're just busting up laughing. The general comes down and he talks to the two concubines. What do you? It is your responsibility to make sure that these people do exactly what I tell you to do. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. This time we'll do it, you know. So he starts beating the drums again, you know, and again, same thing, including the girls out front, you know. They start busting up, oh, this is so much fun, we're being like men, and da-da-da-da-da. The general says, you know, fix your wagon. So he takes the two favorite concubines. He sets out a log in front of them. Tells the girls to lay down and put their head on the log, and he chops their heads off. He chopped the girls' heads off. Each one of the emperor's favorite concubines chopped their heads off. There's blood all over the place. The bodies are removed. And he appoints two new leaders of these women, of these concubines. And then he starts beating the drum, and guess what? They all did exactly what they were supposed to do. Went to the right, went to the left, went backwards, and went forward. Women, girls. They think they can be men. Every one of them. In these last 2 generations, they think they can be men. They really do. You look around, they all think that they know the right thing to do. They, can take the place of men as though they were created in the image of God. You know? So, the only tools that a woman has is the tools of Delilah. You look at the Bible, you read the story of Samson and Delilah. I used to read the story of Samson because Samson, being such a strong guy, every man would think, man, it'd be great to be able to lift a ton, to be able to defeat 700 men in one with just the jawbone of a donkey, to be able to, have that kind of strength, But the wisdom of God, like I've mentioned before, whenever God shares something, you can usually learn more than the obvious lesson. And it amazes me that the truth about a woman is here you have this super being, this superhuman Samson. He was a true Superman. He was a super being. I used to read that story and wonder why Samson didn't just reach over and wring her neck. Because she's crying all the time and crying all the time. We're just trying to get him to give up his strength for her. And, even though he was a superhuman, he was a super being, she was actually stronger than him. Because what can you do to a woman? How can you keep a woman in, when you're dealing with men with men, there's a thing of respect. Men can beat the tar out of each other. Men can, be men, and establish order within their relationships. But, you can't beat a woman. Here you got this pretty face. What are you going to do? You punch her? Well, you just ruined her face, what are you going to beat her? What are you going to do? You damage all of her skin, A man can so easily destroy a girl. Not to mention the fact that God, the ways of violence, the violent will be destroyed. God's made it perfectly clear. The violent will be destroyed. So, being frustrated with the girl, it's easy to want to resort to that, but and I have found girls intentionally provoke men that a man would beat her physically so that she can gain authority and power over him. It's just all part of the game. For them, it's just a big old game. Girls and women, wretched. They're actually, their created purpose is awesome and wonderful, but they've all rejected it and become Satan's minions, Satan's tools of the devil. And again, it's their choice. It's a choice that they have made. Just infuriating. And what's a man asking of a woman? What's a man ask of a girl? Just that she would be pleasing to him. Something that comes perfectly natural to her. But she refuses. I had gotten a massage one time. Went to a masseuse, and here's this girl giving massages, and it was given to me as a gift, and so she's talking, while she's giving a massage, and she's gone to school to learn how to give massages. If you've ever gotten a really good massage, man, those things are it's so relaxing, it's so nice. And she's talking about her husband and said, oh man, lucky guy, you probably give him massages, And she's like, he's my husband. I'd never give him a massage. No way. And again, it's the same thing, a girl will give she'll be pleasing to a perfect stranger. But she won't be pleasing to her own husband. It's like, why not? Why not? But, the answer is obvious. The Bible says they have rejected their natural function, to be domestic.